All right, now to this. Are smartphones changing our personalities, ruining our brains? A new study out of the University of Southern California suggests yes. Let me show you over at the wall. All right, take a look at these graphs that were published in the Financial Times. The dark blue line focuses on people over the age of 60. The light blue is people between the age of 40 and 59. But the group we're focused on is the red lines. That's people ages 16 to 39. Now, in this particular graph, you see age demos plotted against certain personality characteristics, like conscientiousness. Conscientiousness among 16 to 39-year-olds has absolutely plummeted. Meanwhile, neuroticism has spiked. Agreeableness has gone down, and extraversion, all three groups, by the way, on extraversion, meaning we're not as socially active, we aren't putting ourselves out there, we're all capturing our own little worlds, has gone down. Then take a look at this. This is the way we behave, not just the way that we think and not just the traits of our personality, but now how it manifests in our lives. Makes plans and follows through. Look at 16 to 39-year-olds. Inability to make plans and follow through. Persevere on a task until it's finished. Again, also plummeting for the 16 to 39-year-olds. Meanwhile, easily distracted, skyrocketing. Can be careless, skyrocketing. And then finally, this is the behaviors of that same cohort and how they interact with others. Outgoing, as I mentioned, like extroversion, plummeting. Helpful to others, down. Trusting, way down. But starts arguments, way up. So what's going on and how connected is all of this to our increased use in the smartphone? Joining me now is addiction psychiatrist and medical director of the chemical dependency at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital, Dr. Lee Spencer. Doctor, thanks for being with us here today. This is incredibly concerning. Let's talk about why it's concerning first. Like, what do you see in patients? Is this reflected?
Yeah, it's an interesting study because it's the first time I've really seen smartphone data and data about what damage it can do to the young people reflected in personality traits. And conscientiousness being kind of one of the most important of the big five. We talk about the big five: conscientiousness, extraversion, neuroticism, openness, agreeableness. And conscientiousness is one that kind of proves out as the one that leads to kind of most likeliness to follow through on things, be achievement striving, be successful, get married, live a long, happy life, right? People that are less conscientious don't live as long.
Let's not take for granted that we all fully understand conscientiousness. What is conscientiousness?
It really is kind of a measure of a bunch of traits, sub-traits that add up to someone that is self-disciplined, achievement striving, dutiful. It's someone that you think of as being kind of hardworking and driven.
Well, I also think it means someone, at least anecdotally or colloquially, it's someone who's aware of how their behavior affects others around them, conscious of their own effects on the world around them.
Right. There's a thoughtfulness toward other people. Yeah, I think that is embedded within the concept of conscientiousness. You know, Jordan Peterson would say, if you want to see someone that's low in conscientiousness, just go look at the bedroom, right? Like if it's a disorganized bedroom, or if they've got a voicemail box that's full, right? Things like that are examples of someone that's low on conscientiousness. But the idea is really important because conscientiousness is something that we're looking for these days to be able to work through difficult situations, work through problems. This is where I see it in my patients.
Okay, now why is this happening, doctor?
Well, it's a problem, I think, inherent in the instant gratification problem. Someone that's high on conscientiousness can delay gratification, can think about the importance of the future to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve and be successful, right? And if they can't take the time to do that, or they don't have that sort of trait embedded within them, then they have more difficulty and they want to look for short fixes.
And this thing is constant.
And that thing is a constant short fix, right?
Constant instant gratification.
It's a constant pull toward instant gratification. Somebody on there, 1,000 people on there at all times want your attention, right? And if your attention and the need for your time and your intellect and everything that you have to offer is pulling at you constantly, right? There is a lack of ability to take time and think through things for yourself, right? And to make plans and to come up with duty and order and how you're going to organize your life, right? So that is pulling that sort of resource away from our us as adults, but also our kids. But there have been many studies, and there are a couple of good meta-analyses that have looked at brain volume in kids, right? Their brain volume is actually shrinking due to the fact that smartphones, those kids that use smartphones more are more likely to have reduced brain volumes.
Literal physical volume.
Literal physical volumes. In the subcortical areas of the brain, which is not necessarily the high-level planning stuff, like the stuff that's the sub-area of the brain that's more like around impulse control, and those areas are actually, in fact, reducing in volume, which I think we're seeing not only this like personality problem, we're seeing a actual brain change in young folks because their brains are still changing, right? They're still developing. And their personalities are still developing. So this personality traits for somebody like you and me that are 30, 35 plus, right? Like it's not as much of it does impact us, but not as much of an impact, whereas the kids are still developing and their personalities are still developing until they're 35.
Wow. That's incredibly concerning. Yeah. Not just behavioral, but physical changes to our brain as well. All right, Dr. Lee, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Happy to